At the southern extremity of our planet spreads a colossal landmass locked beneath an armor of ancient ice. The territory of Antarctica is nearly twice the area of Australia, covering approximately 14 million square kilometers. Within this mass of ice lies approximately 70% of the entire planet's fresh water supply. If this ice were to melt all at once, the ocean would rise by 60 meters, and dozens of the world's largest cities would disappear beneath the waves. But the true wonder of Antarctica lies not in its scale. It is hidden deep beneath a multi-kilometer thickness of ice. There is a common misconception that beneath this continent lies merely a frozen rocky plain. In reality, the situation is entirely different. Beneath the kilometers-thick armor is concealed an entire parallel reality that science knew nothing of even half a century ago. There lie colossal mountain ranges that no human eye has ever seen. There exist liquid freshwater reservoirs cut off from the outside world for millions of years. There smolder active volcanoes with lakes of molten lava. There flows a stream that looks like blood from a glacier. And there dwell forms of life adapted to absolute darkness and colossal pressure, with no analogues among any organisms known to science. In this film, we will plunge into the mysteries of the most isolated continent on Earth, peer beneath 2 kilometers of eternal ice, and examine why this frozen world may hold the key to understanding the existence of life beyond our planet. To truly appreciate the uniqueness of Antarctica, it is worth looking back at its distant past. Many believe this continent has always been a white, icy desert. In reality, the picture was entirely different. Approximately 180 million years ago, Antarctica was located in a completely different part of the globe, considerably closer to the equator, forming part of the giant proto-continent of Gondwana. Gondwana also included what are now Africa, South America, Australia, India, and the Arabian Peninsula. The climate there at the time was hot and humid. The territory of what is now an icy wasteland was covered with dense tropical jungles. Rivers flowed across its plains, and numerous dinosaurs roamed among the greenery. Over time, the tectonic plates began to drift apart, and Antarctica started its slow journey southward. About 34 million years ago, it settled into its current position, directly above the planet's south pole. The climate changed sharply. Temperatures plummeted and falling snow stopped melting. First, isolated ice caps formed, which gradually merged into gigantic glacial domes. Over time, the entire continent was wrapped in a colossal ice sheet, in places reaching a thickness of 4.5 kilometers. This process of total glaciation stretched over millions of years, and today Antarctica is rightfully considered the coldest, windiest, and driest continent on Earth. When in the mid-20th century scientists began seriously studying Antarctica, a strange discovery awaited them. On the surface of the giant ice sheet in certain places, unnaturally even, smooth areas appeared, as though someone had deliberately polished the ice there. In 1961, a Soviet pilot by the name of Robinson, flying over the central regions of the continent, noticed these enigmatic flat zones and put forward a bold hypothesis. Perhaps lakes were concealed beneath them. At the time, his words were met with skepticism and ridicule. No one believed that liquid bodies of water could exist in the realm of eternal cold. Decades passed before scientists, using radar sounding, could see through the ice armor from top to bottom. The result was sensational. Real lakes were indeed hidden beneath the kilometers of ice. Today, more than 400 such bodies of water have been discovered beneath the Antarctic ice sheet. The largest and most celebrated of them bears the name Lake Vostok. When news of the subglacial lake spread around the world, the internet instantly filled with fantastic theories. Some claimed that in the depths of Lake Vostok there was a secret Nazi base, where war criminals had fled after the end of the Second World War. Others were convinced that the legendary Atlantis lay beneath the ice, sunk beneath the waters millennia ago. Rumors appeared that Soviet and American researchers had long since found traces of an alien civilization in these waters, but were concealing this from humanity. Some believed that Lake Vostok represented an entrance to a hollow Earth populated by mysterious reptilians. And the most radical conspiracy theorists claimed that the drilling toward the lake had been deliberately stopped. Supposedly, Russian specialists had encountered something so terrifying there that continuing work proved impossible. The real facts about Lake Vostok are no less impressive than the boldest conspiracy theories. It is a colossal body of water buried beneath an ice layer approximately 4 kilometers thick. In size, it is comparable to one of the Great Lakes of North America. Its area is around 15,000 square kilometers. According to various calculations, the volume of the purest fresh water contained within it ranges from 5 to 65,000 cubic kilometers, enough to fill the Grand Canyon in the United States many times over. The lake itself has been completely cut off from the surface and atmosphere of Earth for several million years. The water inside does not freeze for 2 reasons. First, the colossal weight of the ice sheet creates pressure that prevents crystallization. Second, the lake is warmed from below by a weak geothermal flow of heat coming from the Earth's crust. The water temperature here holds at around -3 degrees Celsius, yet the pressure prevents it from freezing. The concentration of dissolved oxygen in this water is 50 times higher than in ordinary freshwater bodies, an extremely aggressive and unusual environment for any form of life. Russian specialists began drilling toward Lake Vostok back in the 1970s. This became one of the most complex scientific tasks of the past century. The work proceeded under conditions of extreme cold, unceasing winds, and polar night lasting half a year. By the late 90s, the borehole had reached a depth of more than 3.5 kilometers, but at that point the decision was made to suspend drilling. Scientists feared that when passing through the final hundreds of meters of ice, the special drilling fluid filling the borehole would penetrate the pristine waters of the lake and contaminate them with modern microorganisms, irreversibly destroying the unique, isolated ecosystem. Only in 2012, after 2 decades of painstaking preparation, did the Russian expedition finally manage to penetrate the last meters of the ice armor and reach the water surface of Lake Vostok. The water samples brought to the surface proved to be exceptionally pure, but the truly interesting discoveries awaited scientists in the laboratories. DNA analysis revealed traces of approximately 3,500 different microorganisms in the water, with 94% of them being species absolutely unknown to modern science. These microscopic creatures had existed for millions of years in pitch darkness, without access to sunlight and cut off from the Earth's atmosphere. They had learned to extract energy not from light, as ordinary plants do, but from chemical reactions between water, salts, and the minerals of the surrounding rock. This discovery was of colossal importance for astrobiology, the science studying the possibility of life existing in the universe. In addition to the lakes, another astonishing secret is concealed beneath Antarctica's ice sheet, colossal mountain ranges that no human eye has ever seen. The most famous of them bears the name of the Gamburtsev Mountains. They were discovered by a Soviet expedition in 1958 using seismic surveys. This mountain system stretches across the central part of East Antarctica for almost 1,200 kilometers, with peaks rising to a height of approximately 2,700 meters. In shape and scale, these mountains remarkably resemble the European Alps. Here there are sharp peaks, deep gorges, glacial valleys, and traces of rivers and lakes that once flowed down their slopes. And the most remarkable thing is that this entire mountain system is hidden beneath an ice layer nearly 2 kilometers thick. They were discovered by pure chance, through a series of seismic explosions that sent vibrations through the ice and rock and returned data to the surface. Subsequent mapping using airborne radar confirmed, beneath the ice of central Antarctica lies one of the most complete and well-preserved ancient mountain systems on the planet. How did these mountains form, and why have they been preserved in such pristine condition while their summit peaks remain unaffected by erosion? The answer lies in the very ice that covers them. Rather than destroying the mountains, it has conserved them like a natural museum case, protecting the rock from the wind, rain, and temperature fluctuations that slowly eat away at mountains in other parts of the world. Now to one of Antarctica's most visually dramatic phenomena. On the slopes of Taylor Glacier in the eastern part of the continent, a strange reddish stream flows. It has been given the name Blood Falls. In color, it genuinely resembles blood, a deep reddish crimson tone that stands out sharply against the white snow and ice. But there is no blood here. The explanation, while seemingly mundane, is in fact no less striking. Approximately 5 million years ago, a body of salt water was trapped in a hollow beneath the glacier. This water was completely cut off from the outside world and remained in a state of perfect isolation. Over the millennia, microorganisms living in this pocket of water consumed all the oxygen and created a unique anoxic environment. The iron salts dissolved in the water began to oxidize upon contact with the air when the water seeped out to the surface, and the iron oxide that formed gave the water its characteristic red color. Essentially, the glacier literally bleeds rusty water. But what is far more remarkable than the color is what scientists found inside. In the waters of Blood Falls live microorganisms with no analogs anywhere on Earth. They have survived in complete isolation for millions of years, in salt water, in complete darkness, without oxygen, at temperatures below zero. These bacteria extract energy from sulfur compounds and iron, mechanisms almost entirely absent from the surface biosphere. They are in essence aliens, not from outer space but from the Earth's own ancient past. Antarctica contains active volcanoes. The best known of them, Mount Erebus, stands on Ross Island and is the most southerly active volcano on the planet. Its height is 3,794 meters. At its summit sits a crater containing a lake of liquid lava, one of only a handful of such permanent lava lakes in the world. Lava in this lake does not solidify but remains in a molten state year-round. Eruptions occur regularly, hurling lava bombs, chunks of solidified magma, hundreds of meters from the crater. And all this happens in the Antarctic winter, when temperatures around the volcano drop below -40 degrees Celsius. The contrast between the frozen icy wasteland and the rivers of molten rock creates a landscape of almost surreal beauty. Apart from Mount Erebus, on the Antarctic peninsula there are several more active volcanoes, some of which are located directly beneath the ice sheet. Their heat contributes to the melting of ice from below and plays a role in the formation of subglacial lakes. The most mysterious station of all remains the Russian station Vostok, located in the very heart of the continent. It was here that in 1983 the absolute record for the lowest temperature on the planet was recorded. The thermometer showed -89.2 degrees Celsius. At such temperatures, metal becomes brittle like glass, and a person without special protection would perish in seconds. In winter, only about 10 people remain to work at the station, completely cut off from the outside world for 8 to 9 months of the year. Aircraft cannot land here due to the extreme cold, and any emergency threatens to turn into a tragedy. At the very south pole of the planet sits the American Amundsen Scott Station. It stands at precisely the point on the globe where all meridians converge. Taking just a few steps from the station, one can cross all the time zones on the planet at once. Each new year, the station staff performs a special ritual. They move a special pole marker, since the ice beneath it constantly shifts, and over the course of a year the pole point moves by approximately 10 meters. The study of Antarctica did not begin immediately. For many centuries, humanity did not even suspect the existence of this continent. Only in 1820 did a Russian expedition under the command of Bellingshausen and Lazarev first glimpse the icy shores of the southern continent. In the early 20th century, the so-called heroic age of Antarctic exploration unfolded, with several national expeditions competing for the right to be the first to reach the South Pole. The most famous rivalry flared between the Norwegian expedition of Roald Amundsen and the British expedition of Robert Scott. Amundsen was better prepared. Using dog sleds and lightweight equipment, he reached the pole on December 14, 1911. Scott arrived only 34 days later and found the Norwegian flag already there. On the return journey, he and all 4 of his companions perished from cold, hunger, and total exhaustion, just 18 kilometers from the salvation of their camp. Their bodies were found only 8 months later. The diary that Scott kept until the very last minute of his life survived and became one of the most poignant documents in the history of polar exploration. These first expeditions revealed to the world the austere beauty of Antarctica and opened the way for all subsequent scientific research. The continent preserves yet another remarkable page from the distant past: fossilized remains of dinosaurs and tropical plants hidden beneath the ice of centuries. In the late 20th century, American paleontologists discovered in the Transantarctic Mountains the bones of an entirely new species of carnivorous dinosaur. This predator was named Cryolophosaurus, meaning the lizard with the icy crest. It inhabited this place approximately 190 million years ago, reaching about 7 meters in length, and on its head there was a distinctive V-shaped bone crest. In addition to dinosaur remains, the continent has yielded fossils of giant ferns, conifers, flowering plants, and even algae, irrefutable proof that millions of years ago Antarctica was a genuine tropical paradise of dense forests and full-flowing rivers. A particularly remarkable find was the fossilized remains of small marsupial animals related to modern kangaroos and opossums, confirming that the continents of Antarctica, Australia, and South America were once connected, allowing animals to move freely between them. Beneath the Antarctic ice, scientists have discovered yet another unusual phenomenon. The ice covering here does not merely conceal water, it also produces sounds. It literally sings. The giant Ross ice shelf, comparable in area to France, continuously generates deep, low-frequency humming sounds. The human ear cannot perceive them directly, but specialized seismic instruments register these vibrations without difficulty. They arise when powerful Antarctic winds race across the surface of the glacier, causing its snow dunes to vibrate. These oscillations propagate through the entire thickness of the ice, turning the glacier into a colossal natural musical instrument. If the recording of such sounds is accelerated by approximately 1,000 times, one can hear drawn-out, eerie moaning, resembling the singing of a gigantic choir. Scientists use this acoustic data to monitor the state of the glacier. Any changes in its sound signature may signal the appearance of new cracks, or an acceleration of its slide into the ocean, a question of particular relevance in an era of rapid melting of Antarctic ice due to global warming. The existence of life in such extreme Antarctic conditions has colossal significance for one of the central questions of modern science. Is life possible anywhere else in the universe beyond our planet? On Jupiter's moon Europa, researchers have found evidence of a vast subglacial ocean of liquid water, concealed beneath a thick ice shell in precisely the same way as Lake Vostok. If microorganisms managed to survive and evolve in pitch darkness and complete isolation for millions of years here on Earth, then theoretically similar life could exist beneath the icy crust of Europa. An analogous situation applies to Saturn's moon Enceladus, where a subglacial ocean has also been discovered. By studying the subglacial ecosystems of Antarctica, scientists are essentially rehearsing future missions in search of extraterrestrial life within our solar system. In 10 to 20 years, spacecraft fitted with drilling equipment developed on the basis of Antarctic experience may be dispatched to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and then humanity may at last receive an answer to the question of whether we are alone in the universe. The principal threat hanging over Antarctica today is connected not to conspiracy theories or aliens, but to a far more prosaic problem: global warming. Over the past 50 years, air temperatures above the continent have risen by approximately 3 degrees, 3 times faster than the global average. Many large glaciers, especially in the western part of Antarctica, have begun to disintegrate rapidly and slide into the ocean. The most dangerous of them is considered to be the Thwaites Glacier, which has been given the nickname the Doomsday Glacier. If it disintegrates completely, global sea levels will rise by approximately 65 centimeters. And if other large glaciers follow it, the rise could amount to several meters, with catastrophic consequences for coastal territories around the world. Bangladesh, the Netherlands, Venice, numerous Pacific islands, and a significant portion of Florida could all face inundation. This is precisely why the study of Antarctica represents not merely an academic interest. The future of the entire human civilization may depend on how deeply we manage to understand the structure of its glaciers and subglacial systems. Antarctica remains the last truly unexplored continent on our planet. Even today, in an era of spaceflight and artificial intelligence, the surface of Mars has been studied more thoroughly than the territory concealed beneath Antarctic ice. Every new expedition brings fresh discoveries, and every new borehole drilled to another subglacial lake may present humanity with an encounter with forms of life we never suspected existed. Perhaps the greatest mysteries of our planet are hidden not somewhere far out in the cosmic vastness, but right here beneath our feet, in the coldest and most enigmatic point of our own Earth. And it is quite possible that the answer to the question of whether life exists in the universe will come to us not from distant stars, but from the dark waters of a subglacial lake at the very bottom of our own world.